YouTube, what's going on, man? It's your boy Xerxes coming back at you with another one. This is going to be a build guide for the 3.24 Rage Vortex of Berserking Juggernaut build that I've been putting together. First things first, do want to caveat this by saying that I did not come up with this build. I was scrolling through YouTube and found a video by a guy. His name is POE Noob. I will link his page and channel down below so you guys can check him out. But just want to preface this with I did not make this build. I saw a video and kind of changed a few things here and there, so I just don't want people thinking that I came up with this when I saw it on someone else's channel. So that being said, what we're gonna do today is we're gonna run a T16 Minotaur map, and then we're gonna do a feared that I have saved up over here. One thing to note, if you guys want, you can check out the video up here. I'll put a link. I always say up here, but it'll actually be over there probably, to the last video that I posted. It's a T17 back to basics strat. This build and character has done every Uber boss, T17s, everything that I've thrown at it, it's been able to do. You know, you might die every once in a while if you get some really bad mods on T17s, but for the most part, this build can handle anything that I've thrown at it, and it's just been like one of the best and most fun builds that I've ever played. So without further ado, let's throw this T16 Minotaur map in here. We'll run a destructive play strategy, and we'll pop the map in. Let's go. So yeah, this build pretty much plays like Righteous Fire almost, but you just deal way more damage. I think with like pretty respectable setup and like not juicing any of the numbers, we have around 50 million damage. And then if you have your Vol Ancestral Warchief up, which will be right here, it's more like around 65-ish. And the survivability with Molten Shell up, you have 400k EHP, and with Molten Shell down, it's about 200k. So this build can tank Cirrus Slams without Molten Shell, like no problem. It can tank Shaper Slams. It can tank like everything that I've tried to test it out against. It can tank. I don't know about the Maven memory game. I haven't tried tanking one of those yet, but everything else, even without Molten Shell, I've been able to tank it no problem. So the way this build plays, by the way, like I was saying, Righteous Fire, all you need to do is ambush onto something. This gives you the base crit and crit multi, and then it will last for the duration of your Rage Vortex of Berserking. So really, all you do for this build is you wait for your rage to go up, you ambush, you click Rage Vortex, and then you just run through the map. It's that simple. If you come across ever any like high damage monsters, you can smite and throw your conductivity down. But other than that, it's pretty much just run and leap slam through the map. So enough talking, let's go. So like I said, we're going to check our rage, ambush, Rage Vortex, and then just leap slam through the map. Something happened there. We kind of bugged out. But this is how the build plays. It's like I said, it's Righteous Fire, but with an attack, and the attack is getting giga juiced by ambush, which is some cool tech that I had never known about before. So like I said, we'll spawn this, ambush, Rage Vortex, and then the thing's dead. It's that simple. If you want to, every once in a while, throughout the map, you can just pop a smite down to get the smite aura. Not really necessary, but you can definitely do it if you want a little bit more damage. You just gotta pretty much hit smite like every, I don't know how many seconds does smite last, like where's that, 5 seconds. So every 5 seconds you just have to hit one more button if you want to like min-max your DPS. Not that big of a deal though. Every once in a while your Rage Vortex will fall off, and so like I said, you'll just have to check your rage to make sure you actually have enough rage to cast Rage Vortex. If you don't, you kind of just got to move around a little bit until that rage pops back up. As you can see, our rage just goes up like instantly, and then pop it and you just go straight back to zooming through the map. Okay, let's turn off all of these buffs so you can see like we're not doing any shenanigans here. And then we'll pop our Vol Warchief, our regular Warchief. Wait for this dude to pop up, and we ambush. And I ate like a bunch of shit right to the face right there when we did that too. So, but yeah, the damage is pretty crazy. So let's get out of this map. And I rolled a pretty juicy feared over here. So what do we got? It's can't inflict exposure, -10 max res, more monster life, more attack speed, more cast speed. This could be tough. I don't know. I have only done a few feareds on this character, so we will see how it goes. But just kind of want to show you what the build is capable of. So let's go for it. Let's see how we do. Oh, I should have checked and seen which bosses were where. That's my fault. I just was assuming that one was not Shaper, and that was my bad. That was my bad. See, like, look, we'll tank that slam, like, no problem. Oh, god damn it. Okay, I actually gotta, like, maybe pay attention here, huh? I'm trying to talk too much. Okay, let's kill Adziri. Okay, Shaper's dead. Anyone else? Nope, we did it. Holy shit. That was a lot of stuff. Let's just grab all this stuff. So yeah, if you don't play it like a total dummy, like you could I could have easily gone through that without dying. I just kind of screwed up on that Shaper part, but as you can see, we did it with minimal problems. So pretty cool build. What is this? This is a Skin of the Whale. All right. Anyway, so that's how the build plays, and I'll show you how I put the build together. So we'll just go piece by piece right here. So this is in Alpha's Howl with +2 aura gems, and you're going to put your Determination, Enlighten, Wrath, and Grace in here. And then we have 2 Replica Dream Feathers. This is pretty much how we're scaling our damage, right? Because this is an armor stacking build. As you can see, sitting here right now, we have 1,350,000 armor. So quite a bit of armor. And what we're doing with that is we're using that to scale the % increased attack damage. So we wear 2 of these. It's important that one of them has melee hits have a chance to fortify. Fortify is just another defensive layer in this build. So we run 2 Replica Dream Feathers. This is pretty much how we scale all of our damage. And then in here we have Leap Slam with faster attacks and Ambush. And like I was mentioning earlier, this I will include the POB down below. And what you have to do with Ambush is actually like manually put this in, because your damage isn't going to get calculated properly if you don't. So as you'll see in the notes section, there's a couple of different notes that I have down in there, or not notes, but in the config. One of them is for Ambush. One of them will be for the culling strike that comes from this amulet, because it doesn't take that into account either for some reason. And then it also doesn't take into account all of the evasion that you're getting from the Perandus Pact. So as you can see in the config, I have 210% increased evasion. I have 35% increased crit chance and 140% crit multi coming from Ambush. And this lasts for the duration of the Rage Vortex. So like I said, all you need to do is pop it once, you hit Rage Vortex, and for Rage Vortex duration, you get 35% base crit. So we're at 100% crit and 140 crit multi. It's super sick. So that is how that works, okay? In this other weapon, we have Blood and Sand. For mapping, you can just put it in Sand Stance if you want to, but the AoE is so big that I pretty much most of the time just keep it in Blood Stance for the more damage. And then here we have Vitality. We run a level 1 Vitality for our Watcher's Eye, which I will go over later, and a Defiance Banner just for more evasion and armor. Okay, now this next piece is the juicy one. Look at this. I crafted this last night. This is a Zodiac leather that has 4,100 evasion. Crafted it using the graveyard. Pretty much just go increase defense, increase resistance, and then throw the increased ones that you want in there, and then less on everything else. And I was able to craft this. Make sure that you re-roll the not only explicit values but the base defense values as well. As you can see, this one rolled pretty high in it's like the 95th percentile or something like that in terms of the base defenses there. So get you something like this. Ideally, you would want Grace effect. I think Grace scales a little bit harder, but I spent an ungodly amount of Ickers and all that shit trying to get Grace and just never got it. And so I hit Determination and I just called that good. So Determination or Grace aura effect with increased effective auras is what you're looking for here. And in this chest, we have Awakened added lightning damage with Awakened LE damage with attacks, Volatility, Awakened lightning pin, Rage Vortex of Berserking, and Pulverize. Now for the amulet, I'm using an Eternal Struggle. And what you can do is get one that has just increased effective non-curse auras from your skills. But those ones are a lot more expensive. And so what I found is that I got one with when a unique enemy is in your presence, because that's really the only time that you're ever going to need more damage and more survivability anyway. So, and this one is a higher increased effect. So I went with this one. And then, like I said, since the Searing Exarch is dominant, we get 15% coal on enemies, which is really nice. And on here, we just allocate Charisma for the mana reservation. So moving on to the ring, you want to get a ring that's non-corrupted, either Grace, Determination, Aura effect, one that has both, something like that. And what you can do with that is, because stats are pretty tough on this one, like the dexterity and intelligence requirements. So I rolled this with dexterity essences until I hit a high intelligence. And this one also rolled the chaos res on there. And so then what I did was I went suffixes can't be changed, reforged life. And I hit, I think that's T1 life on there, actually. Yeah, I hit T1 life, and then I just crafted on the minus mana cost. And then we're mirroring that to get all the attribute requirements that we need with some chaos res and some non-channeling. So that's how I'm doing it. This ring can definitely get better. It's just I haven't tried crafting another one yet. We are running 2 curses on this setup. We run LE Weakness and Conductivity. So I got myself a pair of curse on hit with LE Weakness, Calm Spirit. And in here we use Molten Shell with Berserk, Automation, and Smite. The belt obviously is a Mage Blood. And then I will go over the flask that we're using with that here in a second. And the boots, pretty much you could use evasion or armor. It doesn't really matter because it's all going to get converted to armor anyway. With increased cooldown recovery rate of travel skills is actually pretty important on here, because ambush is a travel skill. And if you ever run out of your Rage Vortex, it's nice to make sure that you have your ambush up and don't need it to wait until it's off cooldown, because this is considered a travel skill. So then we have action speed, strength, life, whatever resistances you need. And in here we have Ancestral War Chief with Vol Ancestral War Chief. Like I said, I believe we're sitting at, let me just look real quick here. With our regular War Chief up, it is 55 million damage. If we're able to get a Vol War Chief and a regular War Chief, it's actually 68 million damage. So that's not going to be all the time. So I'm just saying that this build's right around 50 million damage, just to not inflate the numbers at all. Okay, so that covers all of the gear. In here we just have a life flask with corrupted blood immunity. And then for our flasks, we're running basically both evasion flasks and both armor flasks. So we have a jade flask with avoid being shocked, which I will go over with why I'm using avoid being shocked in a second. I'm sure you can probably figure out why. And then we have a basalt flask with attack speed, a stibnite flask with armor, and a granite flask with evasion. So these are pretty much exactly what you would want, and make sure that they all have the highest increased effect on both the implicit and the explicit there. So that is the gear. Let's go over the passive tree. So basically what we're doing for this passive tree is we're just going on the whole left side of the tree here, just to get our what do you call them, cluster jewels, and then we pick up some other random stuff along the way. Okay, it's just life armor. This is where we put our Watcher's Eye. Like I was saying earlier, we have a level 1 vitality for the life on hit, because we're attacking so much that we actually gain a shit ton of life through that one vitality mod. And then the very important one here is to have physical damage converted to lightning. So that's how we get all of our lightning damage, which we have on here. As you can see, we do have a little bit of fizz damage, but the majority of it is going to be lightning damage. So we deal, you know, what is that, 3,500 lightning damage to 204,000 lightning damage. So it's a big amount of lightning damage that we get. I will go over the ascendancy really quick. So you take unflinching, undeniable, unbreakable, and untiring. So this just makes it to where the armor that we get from our body armor is doubled. So as you can see, it's pretty crazy actually with iron reflexes, right? So if you look at my armor, I have 1.35 million armor right now. If I was to take this chest piece off, I go down to 694. So this thing is giving me like 650,000 armor. One piece is giving me 650,000 armor. It's absolutely insane. So that's why we use a evasion chest. Okay, so if you're not using this, 694, am using this, 1.3 million. Absolutely insane. Okay, so let's go back, and then this is some cool tech that you can do here. Okay, so what we did was we put a Parandus Pact jewel in here, and this was increased evasion. Each point gives increased evasion, and then what you do is you put a unnatural instinct here. So all of these points count as like giving us 7% increased evasion rating, and we have 21 in total that we're getting from this one Parandus Pact jewel. So it's pretty crazy the amount of or no, it's 30, yeah, 7 times 3. So we have 30 points that we're getting of evasion. So it's 210% increased evasion that we get from this one jewel, which is absolutely nutty. Okay. So the Watcher's Eye went over, and this is the Adorned. We are stacking magic corrupted jewels in this setup. And we do have in here somewhere, where's the other jewel that I'm talking about? Right here, a Storm Shroud. So that's what I was talking about earlier. The avoid being shocked suffix on this flask makes it to where with the increased effect, this one flask gives us complete ailment immunity with Storm Shroud. So very nice there. Okay. Like I said, we do use a, where's the other thing? Adorned, which is here, right? I got pretty lucky. I gambled on one and got 138% increased effect. I'm pretty sure anything over 126 will still be pretty good, but you want at least 126, I think is the break point. I could be wrong there, but you'll have to do the math on it. But 126 was, I think, what I had before. I bought another one and got 138, so I've been using that. So basically what you're looking for on all of your magic jewels is 7% increased life with 15 melee crit multi and any other nice implicit that you can get. This one I had to sacrifice a little bit on just because I needed corrupted blood immunity, so I got a little bit less melee crit, a little bit less life, but it's definitely good for what it does. And I think I've hovered over this before. We have an impossible escape. This lets us allocate these points here within range of CI. And so this is how we get our extra curse. And this is how we get some extra aura effect and reservation efficiency over here. As far as the cluster jewels go, I believe we're using 2 of the same ones that have martial prowess and martial momentum. I think that one is there. And then I think there's another one here. And then this last one, I believe, has martial prowess and fuel the fight for the mana leech. So you definitely want to have at least one that has fuel the fight for the mana leech. And then the other 2, you'd want to have martial momentum and martial prowess. And I think that covers everything. Accuracy can be a little tough. And so I just had a couple of like global accuracy tattoos that I used. And then I also threw on some like increased armor tattoos. If you want more life, you can get rid of this, but this actually just gives you a little bit more armor and at the cost of some life. So I think I would have like maybe 5,700 life if I didn't tattoo these armor ones on here. But I'd much rather have the armor. 5,500 life is more than enough for me. And then I was shy some lightning resistance. So I threw some lightning res tattoos on as well as 1 chaos res tattoo. So I'm not quite chaos res capped. I'm at 64%. So we're almost there. But if you're ever doing any like hard chaos content or something that does a lot of poison damage, you can just put a flask on that maybe you have less attack speed, but makes you immune to poison or something like that. So that's the nice thing about this is that you can mix and match what what flask you want to put in based on what content you're playing. Or you can also switch out the Pantheons too. But for the most part, these are the Pantheons I run, is just the Sola Solaris and then Aberrath for the Burning Ground immunity, just because Burning Ground is a pain in the ass. But you can mix and match these as you see fit based on what content you're doing as well. So let's see. We went over the... What did we do? We went Minotaur, Feared, Gear, Passive Tree. I think that's it. I can't think of anything else that needs to get covered here. If you guys do have any questions about the build, one thing I did want to cover actually, because I made this mistake unfortunately, and I'm paying for it now, is what is that called? Let me take a look at it real quick, because I thought that it was going to work and I found out afterwards that it doesn't. Is Warbringer, the ascendancy from the Berserker, which I have right here, right? So what this says is that it exerts attacks to deal 50% more damage. And what I thought that I could do is use like a war cry to exert Rage Vortex and then get 50% more damage from Rage Vortex. Unfortunately, what I did not realize is that Ambush makes it to where attacks can't be exerted by anything else besides Ambush. So it was doing nothing. So don't make that same mistake that I did. Do not get these. Now I have to try and sell them back because I spent like 44 divines buying them and they were a waste of money. So don't make my mistake, learn from that. But other than that, I think I covered everything I want to with the build. It's been super fun. Like I said, it's done everything that I could possibly think to throw at it and more. And it's been super fun to play. So if you guys want to give it a shot, total cost of the build, I would say, is around 250, 275 divines, maybe, with the head mage blood included. Just guessing, but that's probably pretty close to what I've spent on the character. So just a rough estimate there. And with that, guys, I'm gonna quit talking, leave the video there. As always, if you like the video, sub to the channel. We just hit 700 subscribers today, actually, which is crazy because I was at like 400 about a month ago. So we've like almost doubled the channel's subscribers in like a month, which is absolutely huge. I appreciate all you guys. If you haven't subbed, hit that sub button, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.